Good morning. Hello. I've been up all night. I'm actually super energetic. I don't know. It's just been these days. Really, actually, with me, when I'm unemployed, um, I don't really get no sleep. But at the same time, I've said it in videos before. I don't really get a simpatico back from a lot of these places. Now, I was supposed to ask that I get a call back from that job down the street. I ain't gonna say the name, but I didn't. I just got some food. Um, a hunch tells me no, but I might have, but I don't know because my previous number got deleted, and I have to just go up there in person and ask. But which I could probably do in the morning. Technically, it is the morning, later morning, but we'll see. If not, I'm not really tripping. I really don't care. Like a lot of these places, I don't get a simpatico back from. Like I'll send some energy, and it comes. Like I'll send some energy like to go in there, and you know. I don't necessarily have to stand in front of it and wait. This is the topic of the video, by the way, just a little bit of a tidbit. But, I'll send some energy into a place, no matter where it is, across this Detroit and metropolitan Detroit area. And sometimes almost immediately, sometimes like it'll linger just for a little bit, like 5-10 seconds. But the common denominator is it always comes back to me. It doesn't ever just sit in there and be like, I'm comfy up in this bitch. Which tells me I can't even look to you for an opportunity, let alone like a chance without going through previous iterations of what I went through at plenty of other jobs over the years. When somebody wants to sabotage and fuck over your financial opportunities to then try to compare you, and this is, me saying what I'm saying now is about to delve into the topic of the video. But when someone wants to fuck over your financial opportunities, whether it's a career or a job, a gig work, whatever, when someone wants to screw that shit over, and then by extension or in conjunction with trying to compare themselves to you by proxy, it culminates for quite, in my eyes, it's not like frightening to me, but when I say this word, but it culminates for quite a monster. Because it's like, you'll go out of your way. If you're willing to do that to a stranger, what are you willing to do to the ones you supposedly, quote unquote, love? You feel me? You'll be willing to do worse to the ones you love than a damn stranger. This is why I tell people, primarily women and, minors and kids, just please look out and be safe. But, like I said, that kind of delves into the topic of a lot of today's ongoings in modern society, and how the cause of a lot of these things are modern men, or I really should, if I want to sound sophisticated, I should say contemporary men. A lot of it comes from, or a lot of and when I say it, I mean the problems that stem from these groups of men come from really a lot of superficial places, and the insecurities that arise from, again, comparison by proxy, or just comparison in general instead of focusing on yourself, and the pain of exclusion. And sometimes, no different than how I say with the ladies, but like it's different with the ladies. How I mentioned this earlier in the video I'm about to upload soon. Out of absolutely nothing. Like in the previous video, I was talking about like the 4 types of chicks you'll meet in regards to all this organized campaign, smearing type shit and everything that comes with it. And like I said, I offer the duality of what someone or what chicks, how I said I've done nothing to you, which is true. I've never done nothing to like traumatize or harm you. I might talk my shit a bit, and really I'm trying to check my mouth on that, because like I'm not trying to be the reason a chick goes home and cries, even though I do feel a type of way about what I've been through. But at the same time, there's the duality of considering like you kind of took the path you took to kind of like go against the grain, and now that nobody ever comes to the source about what supposedly is being said about the source, or projected or portrayed about the source. But we can gather up and rally and go against the grain and put them on the witch stand and burn them on the stake of wood. And it's up to you to save yourself, essentially. But like I said, I've done nothing to these chicks, but reading between the lines in and of that statement, they can just very well say to me, well, you've done nothing for me. And then that's when I say back, like, well, what opportunity have you given me to do something for you? And it's another duality to that. It's a back and forth. Like, even if I were to say that, like, well, what opportunity have you given me to do something for you? Women are not, the men are supposed to engage with the women. Like, you know, I'm not really trying to engage with a woman right now, unless it's like, you know, I mean, even though they want me to. I'm financially inept right now. I can't feed your little cute ass, or even if it's platonic. I cannot feed you. I can barely feed myself because of this situation caused by men. It's not because I'm financially, what's the word? Like bad with my finances. When I'm working and I actually have a job, and you know I don't have to tap into my check, which this is the first time I've ever tapped into my check with the previous job I had at Kroger. Through daily pay. I've never done that shit at any other job besides Kroger, and because a nigga been broke. I haven't gotten one full paycheck from that job because I was tapping into my money so much, but it was literally like that or nothing, so I had to. It was some weeks I didn't even get a check, but I would still have money because I had it from my daily pay. But like regardless, you know, like I said, with these chicks, I can't fucking feed you. And there's not much I can do for you. Like, except besides be good company and safe company, which really, usually that'd be more than enough in today's contemporary times of socialization. With a lot of these motherfucking dudes out here just wilding the fuck out and compromising the safety of and safety and integrity of those around them, primarily the women they're trying to quote unquote impress and be super performative for. Imposter syndrome, other people's personalities who actually have real personalities and be themselves unabated and non-caringly of what someone else thinks out in the world. But again, with these men, it's so much fucking angst felt from dudes. Like, and dudes play both sides more than women. Like, women might play both sides, and I even have that in my poem I'm about to make a video on. I'm gonna record it in the bathroom, because you know that's what I'll be doing. I'll be wanting to record them in public and speak in public, and I can in certain areas, but you know, people, upon hearing, like I had it happen to me when I was reading, I think my second poem that I posted. Yeah, it was my second poem I posted. I was downtown in Detroit, and I was reading my poem, and it was relatively quiet for the most part. And you know, it always gets quiet when someone like me talks. Or, you know, and when I say someone like me, it could be a man or a woman. Like, whenever you're saying something that's actually real or holds some weight, truth, whatever the fuck, it gets quiet. It's quiet right now. But, you know, I was reading, and then people right at the end of the poem, right as I'm about to finish wrapping up, literally, if I would have had 10 more seconds of just silence, the poem would have been perfect to read downtown and actually post that, and it would have been a different setting. And that's probably what I'm gonna do with these videos, try and find somewhere outside I can like do a different setting, and just to switch it up and like give people something aesthetically pleasing to look at in the background. But right at the very end, like, you know, some people just started talking. A pretty chick with her daughter, and someone working at a previous job I used to work at that let me go wrongfully and underpaid the fuck out of me. And I wasn't even in that job I was not in that job for a long time, just for the women to be able to trust and confide in me about the things that they done, you know, been through with certain dudes. It wasn't every woman, and I ain't about to say no names either or give no racial aesthetics in regards to skin color, but you know, like, they felt comfortable around me enough to fucking tell me about like, yo, X, Y, and Z is like a creep, or X, Y, and Z put me through this, you know? And that goes to my next point about these dudes, and really it's about these dudes, but it's also more so to like the upcoming men who actually want to be a safe space for women and not just portray it. Like, you actually have to have this within your content of character. If a woman comes to you telling you if a woman comes to you telling you things she's been through, like some bad thing, or even if some traumatizing shit, because it could be from bad to like undesirable, or you know, straight up traumatizing, and especially the traumatizing shit. If a woman's telling you that openly without you having to ask, or like she feels safe enough to like bring it up in a, whether it be regular conversation or confided conversation, indirectly, if she doesn't follow it up with like telling you not to do it, indirectly she's telling you like, hey, this is what I've been through, don't put me through this, and you know, we'll be good. Indirectly. You have to be able to read between the lines. You don't just take the statement at face value. This is why the literacy level of, you know, the average, even the average motherfucking adult out here, being that of a 6th grade level, literacy level doesn't exactly pertain to just being able to read. It pertains to perception and understanding of the statements made within the very semantics of the words belabored to you and the words you belabor back. How can I word it? Consideration of perspective as well, like putting yourselves in someone's shoes. Like, I'll say it like this: a lot of you dudes could not be a woman, and I've admitted I would never want to be a woman, just based off of the fact that, nigga, like, I was just outside walking earlier getting a motherfucking cigar. Let me be some, you know, well, not 6'5", because, you know, I wouldn't want to be 6'5" as a woman, but that's nothing wrong saying that, you know, you're 6'5" as a woman. I just want to be 6'5" as a woman. I would more so probably want to be like 5'10" to like, I could be like 6 foot as a woman, maybe 6'2" at the tallest. But I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with tall women. I'm just saying, me personally, I wouldn't want to. If once I get my neck adjusted by a chiropractor, I'm gonna be taller than 6'5". I've been used to being 6'5" for years. I've been 6'5" since I was 17, or actually really 16. But like, you know, I don't want to be taller than it. But once I get my body pulled back into place and I see a chiropractor, I'm definitely gonna be taller by an inch or two. My neck is slightly off track, but it doesn't keep me. It doesn't hurt or nothing. But I could just feel it. That comes from years of heavy squats. Getting back to the point I was making, consideration of perspective within semantics and conversation with women in general. Most of you dudes would not be able to even be a woman, let alone exist as one. And I've already admitted myself, neither would I. I was outside walking around and just doing a video on, like, you know, the types of women and shit, and it was a little bit funny, I ain't gonna lie. It's more so good-hearted. I wasn't mad, and it's not a mad video. If anything, there's a little bit of a disdain I have doing this one, because we're talking about the actions of men. And if things are really to change out here, then more men need to do what I'm doing and then hold men accountable. When women come on these social platforms and voice their things about men, dudes it's dismissed because it's a world of patriarchy. It gets dismissed, censored, ignored, or, you know, not by everybody, but by the majority. Or completely disregarded, and like, motherfuckers are like, okay, next. But, you know, I wouldn't be able to walk outside if I was a fine, pretty woman that had ass, or it was even petite, whatever the fuck. Even if even if I had some sort of body dysmorphia to where I didn't like my body, or whatever the fuck, men are men. Men would fuck a rabbit if they were fast enough to catch one and were horny enough. Men would fuck a fucking rabbit. So it doesn't matter what the body type is. It's the fact that you have something that they want because you're a woman. Supposedly they're attracted to women, when in reality they're attracted to what they can do with women, sexually, bodily, that pleases their needs. You get what I'm saying? So like I said, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to walk outside at motherfucking 2:33 in the morning going to get a cigar in this Arizona I'm drinking right here and sipping on, and a nutty bar, as a woman. Now, is that to say that I don't see it sometimes? Sometimes. I remember one time I even turned down, not necessarily turned down, but like a chick asked me to walk her home, and my young, dumb, ignorant, motherfucking airheaded ass, like, kind of like just broke off. I'm like, I live down this street. I wanted to tell her, like, really, if you come down the street with me, I can like sneak my sister's car keys and I could drive you home, but I didn't, and she ended up having to walk home by herself. God bless, thinking about that. I hope she made it home safe. But I thought about that shit the next day, and I was like, I really probably should have walked her home. That was when I lived on 10 Mile and Gratiot at East Point. And, you know, that was also when I was a little bit ignorant Like I said, I mean, I was going through depression at that time too, so I was really a little bit blinded for real. But like, I mean, that's not an excuse. But man, like I said, more men need to start calling out other men about the actions and behaviors of men that are really super fucking predatory. And really, these men have always, I would go as far as to say, like, considering looking back at things I've went through in life and certain social situations, and whether it was real or orchestrated, it ultimately culminated to the same common denominator of predatory behavior and predatory actions, and outcomes that benefit the male as opposed to both parties. You get what I'm saying? So like, there needs to be a more stand-up nature of being like, dog, you bugging the fuck out. That's why I'll be like, if like I'm at the mall, Macomb Mall's like right there, I'll be at the mall and like I'll see pretty young women who look like they're legal and fresh out of high school, and if I really wanted to talk to them, they're 18, I probably could. I know they would probably want me to. They would go, I would go, and that would be one of the rare moments, once again, that I always state. It's never, I would never gun for young chicks. So that needs to be called out too with a lot of these dudes, but more so the motherfucking ones that's like my age and older, especially 35 plus and 40 plus. What the fuck is going on there? Unless it happens naturally, you really should not be gunning for that age group, my nigga. You're old enough to be her father. That's a little fucking weird. It's why I make it a rarity for me that I would go for chicks that age, because I wouldn't be doing it as an indulgence to satiate a lustful behavior, or be like, you know, I'm just on these young bitches because they legal, or let me not say bitches, the young women because they legal, or young hoes because they legal. But like I said, it would be more so to set an example of how a man is supposed to conduct himself. I mean, yeah, I would kind of be the dad of the dynamic, but like, now when I say dad of the dynamic, I mean so as a protector role. I'm not about to sit here and be super serious Steve out this bitch and unfun, but I'm also not gonna compromise my maturity and just like be aloof out this bitch, if you get what I mean. Like I said, it will be an example of setting a precedent to how a woman is supposed to be treated, because as far as it goes with the youngins, and when I say youngins, you know, I mean like just entering legality for being able to associate with older men to where it wouldn't be illegal. And I don't mean on her end, I mean on the adult's end, because like, my nigga, you know you're old enough to not fuck with, you shouldn't be fucking with minors. If a minor reaches, I will, matter of fact, in this video, I'm gonna post a screenshot right here of a DM of me turning down a minor, and there was only a 6-year age gap. I was 23, she was 17. She gave me a compliment and said I was so cute. I said, thank you, and then I said, you know, you can see it right here, and I'm gonna edit it in. How old are you before this continues going on? 17, how about you? And then she did like the little like swelled eye emojis with tears in them, because I'm pretty sure she knew this was where this was going after I said this. I'm like, yeah, I can't even do it. I can't even do it. I don't care if you were 1 year away from 18. As long as if she would have been like 18, I would have been like, okay, we could talk a bit. But like, no, being at that finish line and still not being of age is just like something in me to where I can't. My conscience will eat me alive. On top of, especially in this day and age, a motherfucker's looking to find a reason to be like, well, I told you he was this, that, and the third, in regards to me or anybody in my position, male or female. Motherfuckers gonna be looking for a reason to lurk and be like, oh yeah, I told you he was like this, or I told you he was XYZ, this, that, and the third. So it's just like people be looking for a reason. But yeah, man, like more men need to start calling out men on the fact that like, yeah, y'all be trying to go for these youngins, because really, this is the truth of it. The women that are in your age group, the gum in my mouth making me motherfucking fuck up my words. The women in your age group that are either the same age as you, maybe even slightly a little bit more mature in age, or even like slightly younger, but still close enough to like be considered like not like too young for you. They just see the clown in your dumb ass. And really, women get to talking to other women, and like they'll be like, hey, like, you know, he's a no-go. compared to the youngins who are fresh to the game, and you ain't gotta really do too much for them compared to a woman who's been, uh, when I say seasoned, I'm not trying to say like ran through when I say seasoned, but like she knows what she wants, and there's a standard there that's set because she's not fresh to the game. The youngins, you really, I ain't saying you ain't gotta do too much when I say like they don't need too much, but like they're fresh to the game. Everything is new to them. Everything is new to them that they really ain't really had a chance to experience by volition of a man. Yeah, they might have experienced some shit by themselves, but it's different when it comes from someone you're trying to be romantically interested in, or even if it's just hooking up. They're still new. So you get what I mean? Like, I don't even like this motherfucker. So that's why these motherfucking dudes be on these youngins, cause like I said, it ain't too much they gotta do. And also with that statement I just made in conjunction with it, and it's kind of an honorable mention, motherfuckers just be trying to live in the past. Motherfuckers be trying to live a past life to where like, motherfuckers think about the chicks that may or may not, really, the statement would be, they may not have gotten from like middle school or high school, and these motherfuckers be having these periods of time stuck on their mind because it was an easier time in life with less responsibility. Motherfuckers ain't had to be an adult, conduct themselves as adult, didn't have bills, so on and so forth. Like bills don't come to everybody eventually. Like motherfuckers getting mad about bills. I can understand inflation. Yeah, I'm mad about that too, but I mean bills are gonna be universal regardless of whether the economy is affordable or not, my dude. Like grow up. But but like, hold up. Motherfuckers be trying to make up for what they feel was lost time in a previous time in their life with less responsibilities. When in reality, if you are who you are now, you might have been who you were back then. A little bit of a weirdo, and not the good kind. Like I'm weird, but I'm the good kind of weird. I'm an asshole too. Sometimes I'm a brutally honest asshole. That's one of my flaws. I can admit my flaws though. I have much more less so than a lot of you dudes, and that's why I really don't be stressing out about shit. A lot of you dudes have some very fucked up flaws. I be seeing y'all stare at these youngins, the malls. I can only imagine going to like Macomb Mall is decent. It ain't a bad mall, but I will say, I mean, I think this is a universal concept for like just public spaces in general. Ever since COVID, places have not been packed in conjunction with inflation and all the motherfucking shit going on in the economy and life. A lot of these places ain't been packed, but you still get patronage within them. I can imagine only going somewhere like 12 or, well, 12 Oaks, yeah, because I've worked at 12 Oaks multiple times. I've seen it. Oh my God, the motherfucking, 12 Oaks Mall. And even though I ain't been there in years because that city is kind of on my crap list, even though I think if I went out there, it wouldn't be no trouble. Troy, motherfucking Somerset Mall, I can only imagine, like, if it's probably akin to 12 Oaks, the amount of dudes rolling like around just to observe and like stare and follow, from the young ones to even like the ones that are like older in age or more mature in age, like 35, 40, 45, because women of all age ranges look good, but I'm more so just making it a universal thing with the statement. But regardless of age, from minors to all the way up to mature women, whatever. You don't know how many dudes I see just be in that bitch lurking, acting like they window shopping, won't buy nothing all day. And this is from the ones that are like my age to like older. And you can include the young ones, but the young ones be getting out to try to get out the crib. So I'm not really including them in that statement or this statement. But you don't know the amount of men I see. Sometimes they'll be by themselves, sometimes they'll conglomerate with other men. Maybe they ain't got a relationship dynamic or some sort of friendship, whatever the fuck. I don't care about that. It's what y'all doing. I done worked at 12 Oaks Mall. I worked at PacSun as a 19, 20-year-old selling clothes. I've worked at Nordstrom Cafe Bar and seen y'all on my break. I've worked at the Cheesecake Factory in there at 12 Oaks Mall. And oh my God. Just thinking about certain members, I should have fucked my manager from that job, by the way. But that was around the time my grandma had her strokes and I was depressed. I should have took full advantage of that. If I ever come across her again, I will. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the amount of fucking older men taking out these younger women. I mean, y'all really got to be careful with that shit. And that's the last point I'm gonna make on this video. Please, 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 if you ain't got no sort of self-defense, have some motherfucking money to catch a. I don't know. I think Uber still does this, where they got female drivers that can pick up women. If that's the case, please have some money to get an Uber home before you go out with these motherfucking older dudes. Hell, even dudes that might be your age. The age don't matter. It's the mindset and what the fuck that motherfucker wants out of you at the end of the day. But especially if they're older. Carry some sort of fucking pepper spray, a taser. A taser to the nuts will do more than enough. Really, it'll make a motherfucker reconsider. Carry a taser, carry some pepper spray, bear spray. If you really got the motherfucking stoned ovaries, get a gun. Get a fucking gun. You ain't gotta get even a big one. You ain't gotta get no Ruger 9mm like a nigga like me used to have, or a shotgun. Unless you got the stoned ovaries for it. But get a fucking gun. Get a little 22 that'll hide in your purse. Get a little pea shooter. Guns are heavy, even the small ones. They feel like they fucking hurt. Shout out to hot damn. One or two in the area of a body that'll bleed but not necessarily kill is more than enough to subdue a motherfucker. Or if you really want to kill the motherfucker and you're fearing for your life, then yeah, but I mean, just take precaution with that. But more so just shoot to incapacitate, not necessarily kill, unless a motherfucker really trying to take it there with you. Please be careful on these dates with these older men, or just men in general, but especially the older ones, especially if you just fresh into being quote unquote legal. For real. You don't know how many of these older men I done seen buying these chicks shit at the mall, buying these chicks, taking them out on dates. Like I said, I worked at the Cheesecake Factory, which, I mean, I would consider that like middle class fine dining, essentially, aesthetically. And they got so much shit on their menu, you don't know what the fuck you really even want to eat. Funnily enough, I never even ate cheesecake while I worked there. I mean, it's all right, but I'm not necessarily about to go for that shit like that. I'd rather eat actual cake. But just be careful with these motherfucking men out here, for real. For real, that's all I gotta say, because it's crazy times in America right now, for real, for real. I'm really about to upload this directly after I finish this motherfucking video. Probably before the motherfucking, like, 4 types of chicks, the 2 different ones I did between 2 black girls with the 3rd honorable mention, and then 2 types of white chicks I ran into with this shit going on out here. The shit is funny. That's more so of a, like, it's informative, but it's satirical for me, because it'd be funny seeing these, like I said, it'd be funny swimming in the sonder of these personalities and behaviors, or even just walking through it from these women. It'd be funny as fuck to me, especially the mean girl shit. I mean, I'll be feeling the type of way like, damn, bitch, you actually kind of might want to kill me, or do you actually feel that way about me? Like, the horrible shit, but it'd be funny, because really, like I said, at the end of the day, well, I've had one situation where 2 chicks tried to set me up. That's the only time I've had a situation where a chick tried to genuinely set me up. But, like, besides that, women ain't necessarily the ones trying to genuinely get me hurt out this bitch. If I was to, like, let's say I was to pork one of these chicks that's like a part of this hot mess of an organization, or organized, whatever the fuck you want to call it. As long as it's consensual, and like she ain't got no bad spiritual volition with up in that body of hers. The only other outlying factors of quote unquote danger or undesirables happening, whether it be to me or to her or to both of us, would be from a monitoring spirit man or men. A chick genuinely ain't trying to, like I said, if I had to put like a out of 10, I'm gonna be realistic with this because I was about to give a little bit of an unrealistic figure, but I got to consider what day and age and time we're in right now, contemporarily. I also go as far as to say like 8 times out of 10, most of these chicks really ain't trying to see nothing bad happen to me, let alone get me hurt directly through them. It would come through a monitoring spirit. Primarily the topic of this video, which I didn't even like state the topic: homoerotic men and bisexual homoerotic leaning men. And the control tactics and manipulation tactics they implore upon and impede onto others. That is the topic of this video, and that'll be the title of it. Not enough people are talking about this. Whenever you talk about that, I know y'all can hear them yelling in the background outside. Ignore the hamsters on the wheels. It's crazy people are willing to disregard the sleep. I'm talking, but like, and I know my voice has bass to it, unlike these dudes. So it might carry through the walls a bit, but I'm still trying to talk relatively low. Motherfuckers might be asleep. But even though I don't know why I got courtesy for motherfuckers who've been fucking me over for years. I digress. These motherfuckers ain't got no courtesy for nobody. It could be motherfuckers trying to sleep. Motherfuckers might got work. And the sun about to be up. The ass crack. Let me see. Let me even look outside right now. Okay, it's still dark out. The ass crack of dawn about to be over the horizon in a minute. Like within the next hour, maybe even 2. But really, I would go as far as say hour and a half. I'm pretty sure it's like 4 something in the morning right now. I'm up because of insomnia. And like I said, when I'm unemployed, I don't really necessarily like to really be asleep. I'm trying to look for an opportunity. I've applied to jobs online, but all to no avail to not be hitting it back up. You know, cyber and digital monitoring. But like I said, it's men trying to get you to come into their fold or be like them. Even though if I were to be like them, here's another, and this is what I'm really in the video on. For real, I'll be saying that, but then I'll go off on another tangent. If I were to come into these men's fold, it would result in a ton of undesirables for me, and it ranges from like image control and even probably motherfucking violation of bodily autonomy. Ugh. All the way up into being set up, whether it be set up to be killed, which I'm not worried about. Trust me, I'm a fighter, and I mean that in more than one. I mean that in more than one way with my hands. Set up to be killed, incarcerated, or committed, like to a psych ward. When these dudes don't even have any mental health educational background, let alone education in and of itself. These motherfuckers never even taken a college class on it. Fuck a college class. Some schools are so good within the school system here in Michigan, they offer psychology within high school. These dudes ain't even took that, let alone a sociology class. I've taken a sociology class. Hell, that was the reason me and my group passed for our last group project. In my sociology class, we passed our group project with an A+. And that was the last project for the semester. I really do need to get back to school. I'm gonna see if it's too late to inquire about the fall season coming up, but either way. Yeah, man. Just be careful with these type of dudes. Because if, like I said, if I was to get involved in their fold, it's not gonna result in anything desirable for me. It's gonna result in my image continuing to be smeared, being called homoerotic things or things that have nothing to do with me, never had anything to do with me, was not a part of my prerogative, my timing, my motherfucking volition of free will to be who I am and represent who I am out here in this realm. All the way up into jail and or prison, and really I would more so lean towards saying these dudes are trying to get somebody set up for prison, like they done been, so they can quote unquote try to quote unquote convert somebody excuse me, to represent their rainbow ideology. Headphones tried to fall off my head. Or set up to be killed and make it look like somebody either like killed themselves or, well, he was bugging the fuck out, so I had to motherfucking ice that motherfucker. No, motherfucker, you were bugging out and you just have a lack of accountability and mental illness. But I digress. Ladies, vet the people who you're around very well. And if you are around like someone that's like this, you might have to play the long game. And I know that sounds undesirable. I'm playing the long game right now. Shit, I've been playing the long game for the past 10 years looking back at this shit now that I realize what the fuck is going on out here. But, I mean, I'm a man. I shouldn't have to, it's fucked up that I gotta say you might have to play the long game a bit. And I don't mean like decades and decades and decades of your life. I don't necessarily mean that. But it's not an exact time frame. I can get to it. But, like, really just hope for the better and like make a covert game plan. Make a covert game plan. One that doesn't involve you posting it on your phone, I'll say it like that. Or if you are on some sort of digital motherfucking whatever the fuck you want to call it through these motherfucking phones, that's the gosh damn problem. And why these dudes are out here in mass acting crazy as shit. But then you get around them in person. And when I say in person, I mean like you coexist. I don't mean like me talking to them. I mean like crossing paths with them or like coexisting in the same spaces as them. And they're some of the most passive motherfuckers when they're by themselves. So passive. Or passive aggressive, but the aggressive part is so toned down. The passivity reigns prevalent over their personality. These dudes don't know how to socialize. Damn sure barely got any personality. The only personality they have is personality disorders. But just be careful. Do your best. Get self-defense motherfucking things. Y'all got enough money. I mean, you chicks definitely got more money than me. I ain't gonna say all of y'all, but definitely most of y'all, if not almost all of y'all. You got some money. Buy some pepper spray. Buy some bear spray. Buy a fucking taser. Tasers hurt. And I don't mean like, you know, obviously you damn sure ain't about to get the ones the cops have to where like it's like a taser gun and it shoots out the little prongs. I mean, get that little one that motherfucking got the little, what's the word technically of it? When like it's the electricity but between the two fucking wields. The bolt of electricity. I don't know why I just blanked out on the word bolt. The bolt of electricity that goes between two, like goes in a wheeled arc between two little pieces of metal. That shit hurts. I've never even been tased. It looks like it hurts. It sounds like it hurts. I don't ever want to be tased. But I'm not about to do no stupid shit to get tased. Kind of a longer video, 35 or 37 minutes going on 38. So I'm about to end it right here, probably at the 38-minute mark. My YouTube channel here is xluckylikeLou. I'm going to post this on my threads. I'm going to do my poems later when the sun rises, and thank you for watching.